Alrighty, this is Lee Cole, and this is LinkedIn's Secret Sauce webinar. How to harness the power of LinkedIn with advanced search, identify, go after, and close your niche. You guys are going to learn so much cool stuff. Got a couple of little things I want to talk about before we get going. Before I no, this is somebody says, glad to know there are only 30 slides. I didn't know there were that many.
Me
With
either.
hundreds. Oh my God. No, we don't do that, and we got lots of off slide type, get on the internet type stuff. So this is going to be very entertaining. I want you to stay until the end, because we have a very meaningful giveaway. It dovetails exactly with what you're talking about here. It will help you dramatically improve your LinkedIn account. Gloria normally sells this service to her corporate clients for $197, and she has so graciously suggested to me, Lee, let's give this away to a person. So if you will stay on to the end, and we'll do a little, drawing numbers or something like that, and then we will give that away to you. So cool beans. Gloria, I think I need to make you the presenter so that we can see your see your version of the same presentation.
Okay.
And then you just take it away, and I'll field questions.
Okay, sounds great. Okay.
There we go.
Okay, so I'm going to show my screen. Okay, so can everybody see my screen?
Yeah, we're good. I see it.
Okay. Okay, great. So what I wanted to do was really provide a webinar that had a lot of information in it. And this webinar is going to be really about how to harness the power of LinkedIn with advanced search and a bunch of the different components within advanced search, so that you can actually identify specific niches, go after them, kind of target them, and then Lee's going to go into and talk a little bit about how to close them. So this is an agenda of what we're going to talk about, and we'll go ahead and I will show you all these things. So I'll talk about them just very briefly with the slides. They're going to kind of be my guide, and then what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to show you on my profile how to do all of this stuff. So we'll go into advanced search, and I'll just go ahead and give you some examples of how to identify some niches, and then we'll talk about further advanced search with some Boolean strings, some simple strings that you can use that'll help you target and drill down a little bit better. If you wanted to do a different way to search, I'll show you how to find decision maker info using the LinkedIn company feature. And then once you have all of this information and you've targeted people, then I'll show you how right within LinkedIn you can use tags to organize. You can write notes within the LinkedIn contents, your contacts in LinkedIn, your connections, and then you can sort so you can kind of keep them organized. I'll also show you how to download your entire connections file, and then how to mass email. I'm not talking about spamming, but if you have a similar message you want to get out to multiple people, up to 50, I can show you how to do that in LinkedIn. And then we'll go ahead and show you a reach out process. I'll talk a little bit about branding, and then Lee will go ahead and wrap it up with how to close once we kind of get our target and warm the relationship up in LinkedIn. So that's kind of what this evening is going to look like. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and get started. I'll go ahead and show you a slide, and then I'll show you and demonstrate within my LinkedIn profile. So as I talked about in LinkedIn Secret Sauce, there's a couple of things you want to do before you actually begin a really aggressive reaching out process. And you want to make sure that your profile is optimized, and then it is also very important to make sure that you're at super connector status. And let me go ahead and show you what that looks like. Let me get my other screen over here. Whoops. Here we go. We got too many screens open. Sorry about that. Okay, so as you can see on my profile, this is my home page, and this is what I see when I log on. And as you can see, I've got about 3,400 first-level connections, but if I go over to my profile, this is what you see. And I talked about this in LinkedIn Secret Sauce, so if I'm a little bit redundant, I'm doing this for some people might not have been there to see the report. You can see that it's showing 500 plus connections. So this is where LinkedIn becomes the great equalizer, and it shows me as this is what we consider super connector status. So even though I have 3,400 connections, as you saw on my homepage, what my connections see in people who want to connect with me is 500 plus connections. All right, and so anybody that is on LinkedIn that uses LinkedIn as a networking tool to help further their business knows that LinkedIn is about not only me and connecting with me, but it's connecting with my connections. So you want to get to super connector status, and then what you want to do is you want to have an optimized profile. Now, my profile is by no means the end-all be-all to the best profile in the world, but just a couple of things. It is optimized. I have some keywords in here, some secondary keywords. I have a professional profile picture. I don't look like I'm in Match.com or anything like that. My summary is a storytelling summary in first-person narrative, and then I have a couple calls to action in here, and then the rest of my profile is filled out. I've got the experience filled out. I've got a couple of endorsements and recommendations and stuff like that. So this would be a pretty well optimized profile, and you want to have that, and then you want to have your connector status before you start reaching out. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and move this. There we go. Okay, so before you do the advanced search, those are a couple things that you want to do. Okay, and then once you actually get your profile and then your super connector stuff all squared away, a couple of really great things in LinkedIn is that it is a phenomenal data aggregator, and it's gathering information on me, my keywords, my current position, my previous positions. If there's companies attached to that, there's dates of how long I've been there. So it's aggregating all that information. And what we can do is we can use that information to data mine, basically, and search in LinkedIn, and we can do a little bit of strategic targeting. So we can target a specific niche. We can look in a specific geo area, so a specific city. We can go across the entire country. So say if we wanted to look at plumbers all across the country and do really reach out and market to plumbers or dentists or something like that, we could do that, or we can do it in our specific area. And I'll go ahead and show you that in just a second. And then, in addition to that, we can do some intel by looking at LinkedIn company pages to find out a ton of information on that business, who's in key positions. So if you were in a marketing company, if you had a business that actually wanted to target, say, a little bit bigger companies and do some consulting and things like that, you can actually see where the decision makers are in a company and then reach out to them in a very strategic way. And then you reach out to them once you gather this information, you do your searches. So LinkedIn will help you warm the playing field. It'll help you identify and connect and then warm the relationship up. And then when you do that, you're going to want to take it offline. Okay, so you don't want to spam, but you want to take it offline. So you want to follow up using other methods, put it in your sales and marketing funnel, and so on and so forth. So I'm going to go ahead and show you just a general search right now, and then we'll go and we'll talk about some of the more advanced methods. Okay, so if I wanted to just search, say I wanted to search for plumbers, and I wanted to do it here in the Las Vegas area. Okay, I'm going to click on my advanced tab here. Okay, and I'm going to do a people search, and as you can see in this advanced search, I have a couple of different criteria. If I wanted to look for people with a specific first name, a specific last name, a specific title, say doctors or you know, something like that, CPAs, MBAs, whatever's in their title, a specific company. I can do geo-targeting, I can do country targeting, and then I can put so many miles within a specific postal code. So I'm going to go ahead, and this is how I would search for plumbers in the Las Vegas area. So I'm just going to go ahead, and remember, plumbers refer to themselves in LinkedIn as a plumber. So if we look for plumbers, plural, we're not going to really find anybody. So I'm going to go ahead and go plumber. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, you know, there's a zip code, it's 89148, and then sure, I'll go 50 miles within that. That's going to kind of cover the entire Las Vegas, Nevada area. And if I hit search, okay, I'm going to come up with about 318 results with those that have the word plumber in there. So this is how I can start gathering this information, start connecting with people, and then start building that relationship. Okay, so if I wanted to go ahead and just pick people within the United States, I'm going to get rid of this, and then if I did a search, I could target plumbers across the country, and then maybe be more selective and finding out their company size and things of that nature. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and reset that for now. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense. And as I maneuver through a couple of screens.
Gloria, can I interrupt for 1 second? Yeah, I was going to say exactly what you were just about to say. Guys, if you have any questions at all, because our goal is to make this an extremely informative webinar for you. It's probably going to be something you might need to look at twice, and we'll have a replay up. But if you have any questions as we go along, just pop them in the chat, and we will answer those. So I just wanted to say that one thing.
Okay. Okay, great. Yeah, appreciate it. Yeah, any questions that you guys have, feel free to ask them. Lee will field questions, and then we'll get them answered just as quickly as possible. Okay, so in addition to just a generic search term like that, just like with Google, we can use some Boolean strings in LinkedIn to return some more targeted results. Now, there are recruiters that use some really advanced search strings that look like pieces of code because they're looking for specific, programming languages, specific experience with specific software, a specific, experience within different companies and stuff like that. So they have these more advanced search strings, but for looking for niches, then what we only need to focus on a few, and I've got some examples here, and the most common ones are if you put the key phrase in quotes or parens, and then we have some terms, and these are all caps, and, or the word not. And I'll go ahead and talk about it, and then we'll show you in just a second. So as you know, just like in Google, the search word plumber in parentheses, in quotes, is an exact search term, just like it is in Google. So it's pretty much the same. And then if we wanted to get more, say a little more focus, so say I was looking for a plumber and licensed plumber, if I put those in parentheses, and what it's going to do is it's going to return the results of those that have the word plumber and the words licensed plumber in their profile. Or if I wanted to search, for example, say plumbers or electricians, but I wanted to make sure that I got the word licensed in there to say I wanted to search for licensed plumbers and licensed electricians, or we can do licensed HVAC or whatever, then I can use a combination of those Boolean strings to return that. And then to go over just really briefly and or not, and again these are in all caps. Obviously and is for two terms within a profile, so if I wanted to say plumbers and licensed or dentist and orthodontist, it's going to find those orthodontists who are also dentists. So someone that would say dentist and then specialty orthodontist or something like that. And then of course or is one or more, so if I'm looking for someone in a leadership position, I could say I'm looking for the vice president, or they might refer to themselves as the VP, or I'm okay with even, finding out who the CEO is, so I could do that. Okay, and then if I wanted to figure out or and say, you know what, I'd like to talk to the owner or the president of the company or the CEO, then I can use this type of search string and get those results. And then for the word not, it's an exclusion type of term. So say I wanted to talk to owners, but not necessarily presidents or, you know, ones that have the word executive in them. Okay, and so these are kind of some Boolean strings that you can use. So let's go ahead and take a quick look at some of the Boolean strings in advanced search. So, so I'm back here, and let's go ahead and go to my, I'm going to clear this out. Sometimes LinkedIn will act a little bit wiggy. So let's just go ahead and obviously if we did plumber in quotes, okay, and whoops, I'm going to go back. So I want to do my first, second, I'll do group members, and then I'm going to go ahead and target just in the United States, not necessarily just in Las Vegas. So if I did that, you know, we've got a bunch of results we can choose from, more than we're probably ever going to work, to be truthful with you. So if I wanted to go ahead and look for, let's go ahead and take a look at the Boolean term where I'm looking for, I think I said licensed, hope I spelled that right, C-E-N-S-E-D, and then we said it was plumber, or I'll just go HVAC for the fun of it. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and hit, I want to do first, oops, second. I don't know why it's doing that. It's not letting me, all right, we'll just go ahead and go with first, second connections because it's acting really weird. So let me go ahead and reset that. For some reason, it's acting really strange. I don't know why. It's just stuck on plumber. Okay, I think, there we go. It was just acting a little bit weird.
Do you need an and between the licensed and the open parentheses plumber or HVAC?
Licensed.
Or does that just make a word?
Yeah, I think I do. You know what? That's what I forgot.
Licensed, well, that wasn't me that figured that out. That was Dale. Thank you, Dale.
Sorry about that. I was kind of getting caught up in, oh, it's acting all screwy with me. So there we go. So it's going to be licensed. Yeah, so I've got basically about 1,029 results. And then if we wanted to do, thanks for that catch there. Let me see if I can clear this here. Let me go ahead and just kind of, and you guys kind of get the idea. I don't know why it's not clearing. It's just acting really, really weird. So if I wanted to do, say, owner, and then not president, and it all has to be caps, so let's do CEO, and then I'm going to go ahead and just kind of make it everybody, just to return a lot of results, just so you guys, and you guys kind of should, does everybody kind of understand what, you know, what these will do, these different Boolean strings, and you'll have to play around with it to see what you're looking for, and then what strings are going to kind of give you the most targeted results. Does that make sense?
Yeah, the Boolean makes sense. I think we need to talk a little bit about why you would do this. I mean, from a marketing point of view or from a consultant's point of view, what would you be looking for? Like if you did that string there, whatever, the owner, not president, not, I've forgotten what the next part was, CEO, what's that going to do from a marketing point of view? Why would that be an issue?
Yeah, it's really, you know, when I think like if you're doing small business marketing,
Yeah.
then what's going to happen is a lot of times a small business owner is going to refer to themselves as like owner. They're not going to say they're the president or the CEO. And then oh my, and then what'll happen is that a lot of times a president or a CEO might not necessarily be an owner of a company if the company's big and, you know, has multiple stakeholders and stuff like that. So if say you wanted to focus and take a look at small businesses, you wanted to start out offering services to the smaller businesses, then owner would be a way to search for them. It's just one search criteria that you could use.
Or on the other hand, if you didn't want to screw around with small businesses, if you wanted to go more for your mid-range corporations, which are make really nice clients, by the way.
Yeah, they do.
Because they got money to spend and they're used to spending it, and they're not nickel and diming everything. You could search for something like vice president marketing, you know, vice president, VP and marketing, V.P. and marketing, vice presidents and marketing, stuff like that.
Exactly. Yeah.
Because one
exactly
wonderful group of people, and we'll get into how to reach out in just a minute, but just a little golden nugget here, guys. One wonderful group of people for y'all to network with, for you to use to build, you know, use LinkedIn to build relationships with and do all the cool stuff Gloria's going to tell you, are vice presidents of marketing.
Yes.
That is you could build an entire business just based on that one thing.
Exactly. Yeah, and I can show you a little bit about LinkedIn company search, how you can kind of dig into the company details and find out who the key people are just by looking at their company profile, and then the company profile will share with you more stuff. So
yeah, I'm actually extremely interested in that myself. Y'all, just so you know, Gloria hasn't told me half the stuff that she's showing you, so I'm like, I mean, I know what you're going to learn, but I'm looking at it and thinking, yep, want to know that, want to know that, want to know that. So carry on.
Okay, great. Is this making sense, everybody? Are you guys, does it kind of make sense in terms of like the application and stuff like that, of what you could do with it?
Most people are saying, sure. Jason has a question. Is this kind of search working within members of a group or only in the advanced search? I think, and Jason, you'll have to help me out here if I'm not translating what you said correctly. I think what he's saying is, because on that advanced search box, which I use personally a bunch, you have the groups on the right-hand side. But I think he's saying, is this going to search just within the groups that you checked off, or how is it going to search within your first, second, third-tier connections? How much of LinkedIn does it search? In other words, could you give us some like global type understanding of what's going on there?
Oh, yeah. So if you see right up here, you've got your first level connections, your second level connections, group members, and then basically third and everybody else. So it's everybody else that you're really not connected with, and your third level connections. So if you wanted to kind of see, say you belong to a bunch of groups and you just join like 50 groups, and all of those groups have 10,000 members each, and there's a good mixture of like marketing people or whatever, small business owners, something like that. Then if you wanted to just go ahead, you keep these, and you wanted to just kind of take a look at what the different search will do. If you start knocking out some of these criteria, you can kind of see like, okay, I don't, like with my group members, I don't know how many I'll have, but you kind of play with this a little bit, and then it'll tell you, or you can reset it and then get rid of any one of those. Like I've got owners that have that term 4,960 are in my groups basically, and groups are really good to reach people in. So you can just start, what I would do is once I got my criteria down, again we want our profile done, we want to kind of be at a pretty decent super connector status, I would just hit connect and start connecting with the people, and then once they reach out and they actually return the connection and connect with you, then you can kind of foster that relationship. I hope that answered the question.
Yeah, I think we answered it. Just to make real sure, could you, like if you were in a group with 10,000 group members, okay, could you use the keyword search and the advanced? In other words, could you choose a group and search for people in that group where something on their summary profile, et cetera, matched that keyword or that Boolean string? I mean,
no, not within the group. No,
okay.
it's going to be within LinkedIn. You can search all your group members. The only way to do that would be if you only had one group that you belong to, basically.
So it's going to, the stuff on the left-hand side is going to basically search in all your groups.
It is,
Okay,
yes.
okay, that's a key piece of information. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, because in LinkedIn, remember, your group membership, everybody in your groups are part of your network. So they become part of your network.
Somebody asked a question which I was asking for a little clarification on. What's the difference between LinkedIn and Facebook for marketing? And before we answer that, if I could get a little more clarification specifically on what kind of thing you're selling, because we got people from all walks of consulting, selling products, et cetera, on this webinar. So if you give me a little more clarification on that, I market on both and personally in two different ways. I think we can help you out with that, okay? So once you get that back to me, then we talk about it. Okay. Carry on, onward.
Alrighty. All right. Okay, so that kind of goes into a little bit about the Boolean string. Now what you can do with LinkedIn for finding kind of those decision maker info, and this goes into a little bit about what Lee was saying, where if you found the VP of marketing for some of these pretty decent sized companies, that would be a nice niche and a nice business. It'd keep you busy, they pay well, things of that nature. So if that's your target, then you can actually find who those key people are in those companies just by doing the search on LinkedIn.
Gloria,
So,
I got to interrupt you again because I'm so excited, okay, and I apologize.
No problem.
Just look at me as a very large 5-year-old. But anyway, guys, when I first started my offline business, and I didn't know, I mean, LinkedIn existed, I didn't know beans about LinkedIn, did this on Google, and it was really hard. It was a massive amount of work. But I specifically targeted vice presidents of marketing. And I would mail them some information. I would call them back, see if they got it. And oh my God, the response to what I was doing was really pretty crazy. It got me really busy, really fast, and still have some of those clients to this day. So I hope that you're realizing that what you're learning here to target the right people is going to make a world of difference in how fast you can build a business.
Yeah, because that way you don't have to call and say, yes, can I speak to the person who's in charge of marketing? You know, this is just a different way of penetrating them. And then they, you know, it's totally cold and they know you don't know anybody there. But this way you can find out key people and then you can actually penetrate that company either by introductions or going directly to that person.
You know, a lot of these small to medium-sized corporations now, they don't even have somebody answering the phone anymore. That's a giant waste of manpower or woman power or person power, however you want to say it. I mean, a lot of times when you call a small corporation, not like the pizza store around the corner, but like a small engineering firm, small, you know, company that does import-export, whatever, you're going to get the voicemail of the vice president of marketing, and they're going to be the ones listening to their voicemail. So this is beautiful. This gets rid of that whole gatekeeper issue.
It does, yeah. And
cool beans.
What is really cool about LinkedIn too, I don't know what it is about LinkedIn, but you can send somebody, one of your connections, a message in LinkedIn and they will respond to you where they would not give you the time of day if you tried to call them cold. It's just a LinkedIn etiquette thing. It's really kind of crazy. But anyway, getting back to companies. So say we wanted to take a look and we had an idea about the size of the company. We knew the geo areas that we wanted to target, and we knew the kind of people that we wanted to reach in that company. And that is just, I don't know why it's doing that. It's just bugging me. So I went to advanced search and I'm looking specifically at companies, and as you see I've got a couple of choices that I can actually search on, a couple of criteria, and this is just in the LinkedIn free. If I went ahead and went with a premium service, then you've got a lot more criteria, but this is really enough and it'll get you some information. So say I wanted to look in the United States. If I wanted to actually pick a specific city, like we'll go ahead and say where Lee is from, Atlanta, Greater Atlanta area, and it'll go ahead and search for companies in the Greater Atlanta area. And I can just go ahead and just search in Atlanta only. And what we could do is there's about 376 companies on LinkedIn that are in the Atlanta area, and as you can see right here there's over 12,000, almost 13,000 in the United States. And then what I could do is I could actually go ahead and I can target a specific industry. Like what I was doing is with my LinkedIn is really good for commercial real estate agents and brokers, and so I would do all of my search and marketing for my commercial real estate agents right directly on LinkedIn. So I would do commercial real estate, and I would do searches to see the commercial real estate agents and companies and who the key people were in LinkedIn. But let's just say we want to look at an industry. I don't know, Lee, give me an industry that would be, or somebody give me an industry that VPs would be in. We can do, what, IT or telecommunications?
Engineering would be a great one.
Okay. Okay, so I've got civil or mechanical or industrial engineering. So
Civil. There are a lot of smaller civil engineering companies.
Okay. Okay, so we've got civil engineering, and then I can go ahead and I can pick, now probably in the Atlanta area, depending on how big they are on LinkedIn, we might not get a lot, so I'm going to go ahead and just go ahead and go for the U.S. It's still doing that not president, not CEO thing, and I kind of cleared it out of there. It's kind of weird. I don't know why it's doing that. Sorry, guys. We kind of have some weird technical difficulties. It's like my LinkedIn's stuck or something. Let's try this again. So we said civil engineers, right? Okay, so we got civil engineers, and then let's say we wanted to target specific company sizes. So if we wanted to look at kind of like medium-sized businesses, we can say anywhere from 11 to 50 to 50 to 200. That's probably pretty decent. And as you can see, I've got some pretty decent choices. I've got 1,700, and guys, we're probably not going to get through that 1,700 by the time we kind of find what Spain situation's about. By the time we find like who's in here and stuff, so I'm going to go ahead and let me see if, I'm just going to pick the first one here. They're in LA. They actually have a pretty decent LinkedIn profile. You can find some information on their LinkedIn profile about them, and this is how you would go about doing some of that intel. You can see they kind of keep it updated every now and then. And then what I would do is I would look for the URL to their actual their website. I would do a little bit of intel there, and this is really the cool thing about this, because how I'm connected, I can see how I'm connected with all of these people that's in their company. And so what I would want to do is I would want to look and see, and it so happens I've got 1 second level connection, and then I've got some that are third level connections. So what I would do is I would go ahead and look at our shared connection. and then see if I could get an introduction. And then for some of these people, I'd look at some of their connections, which we could see on their LinkedIn profile, and then see how many of their connections are in my network and ask for an introduction if it's a key person like a marketing, like this guy's the marketing director right here. So that's kind of an idea of how you can penetrate and get some information and intel on key people inside certain companies. I hope that's helpful.
That was great, Gloria. Besides the fact that you can find out who these people are, why would it be important to do this through the platform of LinkedIn?
Well, it's a little bit easier because of all the data it has. Because, like, you could go to the website and you could probably go to Manta or something like that and find out some of this information. But if you're not directly connected, say, to this person, then what you want to do is maybe you're connected. You want to look for someone that you're connected with in that company that can get you to this person in a warm type of way. And so this is a little bit easier. It just kind of warms the playing field for you. That's really what I consider LinkedIn is kind of to be a warmer.
People don't really expect to be just inundated with spam nonsense on LinkedIn.
No,
I mean,
no, typically not.
These people,
yeah,
exactly. These people, when they get that little red number up on the top right-hand corner of their LinkedIn account, to them that means, gee, I need to go look at that at some point. So, I mean, it's more of a this is a safe, serious place, and also they can. If they want to know who in the heck you are, they can go to your LinkedIn profile and scope you out and say, yeah, I understand where that person's coming from, what they're up to, and frankly, I'm already interested in that.
Exactly.
Very cool.
Yeah, and so like this is probably what I would consider a little bit more, for me, a target would be a little more challenging because I don't have a lot of connections in LinkedIn. But again, the bigger your network is, then I would just go next. I would look for another company that's a little bit easier for me to target and infiltrate. Yeah. And out of those 1,600, because my network is so big, I'm going to find people that can introduce me to people in there. It's just kind of like my BNI group that I go to, a networking group. A lot of times I'll get introduced to do work for people through my BNI connection. So I'm not necessarily doing work for them, but for the people that they know. And that's kind of how this is. It's a warm introduction.
Couple more questions. Have you ever run LinkedIn ads?
I have not. I have not done the LinkedIn ads. I've heard, yeah, I've heard mixed results about the LinkedIn ads. You know, some people have a pretty good success rate with them, and then some people don't. I think the ads is just like anything else, like Facebook ads and stuff. You really do need to know what you're doing and make sure that your little graphic is attractive, and that you set your, all of your stuff correctly, for sure.
I mean, I could be wrong about this because I personally, for what I use LinkedIn for, don't need to run ads because I do what Gloria tells me to, and I frankly have more than I can get to. But I looked into it briefly, and it seemed like compared to other possibilities, they were fairly expensive. Another thing is someone had said, can you explain LinkedIn Sales Navigator? I don't know what that is personally.
Is that either a premium or is that like a plugin or something like that, or a piece of software out there? Because I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm not sure either.
Michael, if you could give us a little further clarification on that, that would be cool.
Because there is lots of different softwares out there that will, do different things with LinkedIn. Like I have a client that he purchased some software that did like the automatic emailing to get him to super connector status, and he got spanked by LinkedIn. They really didn't like. They threatened to, we're going to shut your account down. You're kind of, spamming or something like that.
And that actually can happen. I got that email one time myself, as I told you, when I was pushing the envelope a little too much. And, I just sort of throttled back a little bit, and I've been in the safe zone ever since.
Yeah, but there are different softwares, but I'm not familiar with that term being
Michael
like
says it was a service on the search page you were on the advanced search. Can you go back to the advanced search page there?
Yeah, just, is it Was it an ad? Is that what it
I'm not
was? Maybe
sure.
it was an ad. Let me go back here, and hopefully it's still there. It could just be someone selling some stuff. Was it here? There's Trend Micro for...
I don't know. Do we, Michael? If you can tell me whether it's in the left, middle, or somebody else says Sales Navigator is comes with premium LinkedIn.
Oh, okay, because I had Premium LinkedIn. I just got rid of it, and I got rid of it like, I think about 2 or 3 months ago, and I don't think I saw it with my Premium, or I never used it.
Maybe it's a newer thing.
It could be, like LinkedIn has a specific premium for salespeople. They have a premium for recruiters and for job hunters. You know, so they have a couple different premium services, and I think I got, I forget which premium account I got. It was like the most generic one. It wasn't like for job hunters or anything like that. And I don't remember it being on there. So I wonder if it might have been an add-on for like a sales, for like their sales premium or something.
Maybe so.
Yeah, it could be.
I've never had premium, so yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I just don't remember seeing it on my premium account. As of, like, I think about 2 months ago is when I got rid of my premium. I just wasn't using it. I think the analytics was really good. You could see, you know, who's searching on you and stuff like that. But other than that, I really didn't use it.
That's the only reason I've been tempted to get premium, is because it gives you a lot more, all the people looking at your profile, you can get to all of them.
Yeah, it actually does give you really good analytics on that, and it shows you about 90, I want to say like 90 or 120 days out of, you know, how your visibility has grown and stuff like that.
And so I think your searches, like if you search second-tier connections in a given group, I think it will give you, I mean, premium will give you more than 100. But
yeah, I think I'm pretty sure it gives you a lot more than 100. Yeah. I'm pretty sure. Yeah. So if you're really going to use LinkedIn as a tool, then it's a good thing to maybe just sign up to check it out or something.
Yeah, I'm considering it. Cool. Okay. Well, let's carry on.
Okay. Do we have any more questions? Or are we okay?
I think we're pretty well caught up on things right now. Yeah.
Okay. All right, great. All right, so now that you've kind of mapped out your strategy and that you've decided, you know, who you want to target and how you want to target and things like that, LinkedIn will actually let you stay organized within LinkedIn, almost like a little mini portion of a customer relationship management system. So it doesn't really have the robustness of a full-blown CRM, but there's some things that you can do to keep organized within LinkedIn with your contacts and connections, so that you don't have to keep jumping in and out to like LinkedIn to a CRM, to your email and things like that. And it'll just help you a little bit. And then in addition to that, LinkedIn, you know, they want you to like stay on LinkedIn and just stay within LinkedIn all day long, and hopefully you'll click on some of the ads or buy their premium service or something like that. So the more that they make it user-friendly, the happier they are. So I'm going to talk about these next couple slides are going to be how to organize your connections by tagging. You can do in different categories, and then how to customize those categories. And then the cool thing is you can kind of search and sort your contacts using the different tags. And then what we're going to go into, so I'm going to cover the next 3 slides and then I'll kind of show you all of it. And then another really cool thing in LinkedIn is that you can, within a connection, you can actually make a little note. There's a place for notes, and then you can set reminders. So if you have this connection going where you're emailing and sending messages back and forth, and then they say, you know, yeah, touch back with me in about 2 weeks or something like that, then you can actually set a reminder in LinkedIn to do that. So there's a couple of cool things that you can do, and let me go ahead and show you what I'm talking about. Okay, so I'm going to go back here, and I'm going to go back to just my connections. And my system's a little bit slow. And this is just going to show some of my connections. So if I wanted to, like right here, I've got, you can see I can sort by recent conversations. I can go ahead and sort by last name, first name, and then I can do further filtering. So I can filter by company, connections only, and the tagging is what I'll go ahead and talk to you about in just a second. And then we can do either location, whatever their title is, the source of that connection, whether they're saved. There's a way you can save these, and then you can hide them for and then potential duplicates. So let's go ahead and say I wanted to reach out to these guys. And I'm going to create another. I've done this a couple times, but I can go ahead, and what I can do here is I can create a new tag. So I can just go ahead down here, and I got them tagged. I was just kind of playing around with this earlier, and I called them new, I think new connection or something like that. But I can create a tag, and I'll call them July 14. Okay, that's the new tag. Okay, so now Randall's in my July 14. Now what I can do here with Wesley is I can go ahead and I can change him, and I can make him July 14 as well. So I can go ahead and say he's July 14, and then we'll go ahead and we'll make Lee July 14. But we won't make Tanya July 14, and we won't make Latay July 14. All right, so if I wanted to go back and I wanted to filter, then what I could do is I could filter now by July 14. Okay, and so what that's going to do is it's going to show me everybody that maybe I contacted in July of 2014, however you want to organize your tags. Now the cool thing is, see, I had like up to 50 people that I've kind of made this tag to. Then what we can do is we can actually go ahead and I can message, I can check everybody off, and then I can do, say there's a message like I wanted to invite everybody to the group. Whoops. I don't know why it's not doing it. Send message. Okay, so that's really weird. Oh, here, sorry. Okay, so what that's going to do is it's going to go ahead and it's going to send a message to everybody that I've checked off. So if I had more people, now you don't want to do spam with this, but if you had kind of a generic message and it wasn't spam, you've already made initial contact with them, then this is a great way to reach out to them. You want to make sure that you uncheck this, and then you kind of compose your message and hit send. You don't want to show each other, the recipients, each other's names or email addresses. You want to kind of keep it generic. And this is a way that you can actually reach out to multiple people, up to 50. LinkedIn will let you do up to 50 by sending out just kind of this mass message. Okay, so that's something that's kind of cool within LinkedIn and the sort feature.
No, man, that's beyond kind of cool. Because where most people fall down in any kind of sales is follow-up. And, while you're saying that, I'm looking at the stack on my desk of like 2,100 connections and wishing that I'd known about the tag thing. When you taught me all this a couple of months ago, I mean, you could easily, let's say, tag everybody that you meet new this month with the name of the month, and then, put them all on like a little, just like a little email that just sort of gets back in touch with them, I mean, you could almost automate that whole thing. That is really, really, really cool.
Yeah, it's kind of cool. And LinkedIn will attach a I sent him a thank you message for connecting with me, and it kind of attached that to say, yeah, you sent him a message. But here's the place you could do the notes. So you can say initial contact message, was nice and friendly, yada, 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 that type of thing. Save it. And then whenever you are going through, now there's really no way to search on this or anything, but just as you're kind of working your LinkedIn profile and working your connections a little bit, it's little additional triggers. so you don't have to go, oh gosh, I have to look through all my messages to see what I sent him and stuff like that. And then if there's a reminder, you can set a reminder here to, contact, touch base in a couple of weeks or something like that.
So you could have everybody that you reach out to for the first time, you could have a reminder to contact them in a couple of weeks, put them on like a monthly contact, you could tag them that way. That is really, really, really great.
Yeah. So there are a lot of applications for it, just to kind of help you stay a little bit organized. Is this cool? Are you guys getting some stuff out of it? Are you guys kind of seeing some of the possibilities with what you can do with LinkedIn? Can I get some amens?
Cornell is loving it. Cornell, I'm glad you got on.
Okay, great.
Cornell had trouble getting on. Just so you know, Cornell, we got the whole thing. We got the whole thing recorded, so the front of this will be available to you. So you have not missed a thing. I'm just like salivating. I almost can't wait to wake up tomorrow morning and get back on it.
And start doing it, huh?
Yeah.
How funny. Yeah. So I mean, you can, if you know how to use LinkedIn. It's a pretty good. The nice thing about LinkedIn is it's business to business. So the people that are on LinkedIn are to build their network, and they understand the power of networking. And if you do it correctly in a non-spammy way, then what's going to end up happening is you can go far and really make some connections. I mean, I know, Lee, you're to the point where you're talking to 2 or 3 people every day, and it's really pretty easy.
Yeah, these are
within
people
a
that
very
are
short period of time.
Just from, so I've been doing this according to the way you do it for like a couple of months. Mm-hmm. Before that, I will hand on a stack of Bibles. I thought LinkedIn was junk. I really did. And I hated it, and I thought somebody had screwed up bad. But apparently it was me. And but yeah, I mean, within just doing what you said, which is outlined basically in that LinkedIn Secret Sauce report. By the way, if some of you guys actually got on, and it's totally cool if you did, but if you got on the webinar and you didn't buy that report and you want to buy that report, that was the first little product that we sold about this. Just hit me up. We'll be happy to point you to a place where you can buy it. But yeah, Gloria, I mean, it's turning into a really, really excellent lead machine. Mm-hmm. And it's getting to a tipping point. Well, it's been at a tipping point for a while, but it's really at a tipping point where I've got people reaching out to me now, mm-hmm. finding
exactly.
me, saying, well, tell me more about, I read your profile, read summary, I see what you're doing here. Can you tell me more about that? Mm-hmm. And see, that is so cool, because that's when you sort of flip the whole thing around and you're not spending your time just, hunting around for business, right? I mean,
yeah, it kind of helps you with positioning.
Massively.
Because, positioning, it's a different thing whenever you're going to somebody and, please, can I do this analysis for you, versus I'm in a position of strength. I'm an expert in my field, and you can see from my profile and my branding, my attraction marketing, I've got it going on. And, I've got a few minutes to talk to you. Let's talk, and I'll show you what I can do for you. Are you in or you out? It's a different place, and you're in a position of strength when you're able to do that and put yourself in that type of positioning versus, just almost like that really, I don't know, subservient position. I don't know how to put it.
Well, we were talking about it the other day. We were talking about status. I mean, it's how you perceive.
Yes, exactly.
It's your cred. It's how big your stick that you're bringing to the party is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and,
yeah.
And LinkedIn allows you to create that feeling, even if
persona.
That persona, that whole thing that you are, really rapidly and really professionally. And if you do this kind of stuff consistently, it really does not take many weeks before you start seeing the benefits of it. And you start having people treat you in an entirely different manner. See, that was the difference between, I had bought some LinkedIn stuff, paid a fair amount of money for it, frankly. I had bought some LinkedIn stuff, and I was just getting totally spammed. And then you told me how to do it, and I did it your way. The real difference was, frankly, people on LinkedIn that I was reaching out to perceived me differently. Mm-hmm. That was the deal, mm-hmm. and that was all goes back to all the stuff that you taught me. So cool beans. Let's carry on because we still got a ton to go through.
Yeah. So I'm going to show you how to download your contacts, your connections. You can actually download your connections into an Excel spreadsheet, and you can do some sorting and stuff outside of LinkedIn. And I really want to caution you to not use it as an opportunity to spam. And I'm going to show you. I think these are hilarious, and I really hope this gentleman isn't on the webinar, but I took some screenshots of this because I thought this was hilarious. This is total spam, and this is to me, okay. Hi, Dr. Dentist. I see you are dentist in city. I do a lot of search engine optimization, yada, yada, yada. I'm like, what are you even talking about? I'm not dentist. I'm not Dr. Dentist in city. And then he said, oh, well, maybe you are HVAC, so this is just kind of like, let me spam everybody and see, maybe I might get lucky and I might get, something out of it. So this is like what not to do in LinkedIn. It's not very effective, and there is a certain amount of this that's going on in LinkedIn, and we can smell it a mile away. Like if somebody spams me, I won't even respond. And a lot of my consulting clients and stuff, when we actually made their messages very genuine and very down to earth, very simple, I mean, they were getting responses like crazy where people were like, I really appreciate your honesty, and they got a lot of response back and were able to really build up their their network. Or what one of my clients was able to is, he does some network marketing, and he really wanted to use LinkedIn as a network marketing tool. He was like, within the first week of kind of changing things around, he was able to actually sign up like 2 people just by having that different attitude and that reaching out and kind of warming the playing field a little bit. So this is what not to do, but I digress. So what I want to do is show you how to do this, but you've got a Scouts Honor promise you're not going to spam if I show you how to download your contacts, okay? So everybody's doing their Scouts Honor. So if you're going to go here, it's actually, what you can do is, if you wanted to sort, like I've got 3,400, almost 3,500 connections, and if I wanted first level connections, so if I wanted to do some sorting within my first level connections, and it would be cool to download those and then do some sorting in Excel. That's not a problem, and then I can do my targeted marketing strategy. Okay, so if you wanted to go ahead, you go to Connections, just on the main Connections tab, and then what you can do is you can go here to Settings, that little Settings icon, and then when you go to the Settings icon, my system's running slow, I'm really sorry about that. You have a couple of options here. I really don't like to integrate it with like calendar and stuff like that, because you can't get rid of it once you do that. But if you go here, you can export your LinkedIn connections. Okay, and then you can go ahead and just pick Microsoft Outlook. It's going to be a CSV file. You click Export, and then what it's going to do is it's going to ask you for a CAPTCHA. You just verify it. You can see I downloaded it here, and then I have it open just to save time, and you can kind of see what it looks like. You basically have their first name, their last name, and then you've got all of their email addresses, because everybody has to have an email address. You've got a bunch of other fields. Most of the stuff is not filled out, but you've got their company here, and then you've got their job title. So this might help if you're looking for first level connections that are in marketing or attorneys or something like that. And that might help you do a little bit better sorting and gleaning and stuff like that. So that's a way that you can actually download your connections and then manipulate them in Excel. Okay, let me go ahead and get rid of that. And then let's see here what else we're going to talk about. Anybody have any questions on how to download contacts or how to do mass email sends or anything that we've talked about so far?
We don't have any questions thus far. If you guys got a question, just pop it in here. You're doing a great job, apparently.
Oh, good, good. I'm hoping that everybody just gets some information out of this and they can kind of see that, yeah, this is a pretty decent marketing tool and it's free, you know. So here's a little bit about the reach out process, because I found that some of my clients are confused. Like, how do I reach out? What do I do? That type of thing. And you have to keep in perspective that LinkedIn is all about relationship. It's warm marketing. It's marketing within your network. Think of it as like a virtual chamber of commerce or like a virtual BNI meeting or something like that. And so it's about attraction marketing and positioning. Just like you're in a chamber of commerce meeting, you're going to, you know, give your 1-minute commercial. That's kind of like your profile page. And then you're going to position yourself in those meetings as an expert, as a go-to person for whatever it is you do. Okay, and so so that's really what LinkedIn is about. So the first step is to get them to connect. Click connect. Generic connect, that's it. And then the second step is, once they make that connection, is then you send them a very nice non-threatening email. You're phishing, you know, dear so-and-so, thank you for connecting with me. If there's anything I can do for you, such as make an introduction or give you a referral, etc., please let me know. All the best. Gloria, you know, pretty much that. People appreciate that. And then from there, with the responses you get, then you can begin the warm marketing to find out, you know, again, it's not only, oh, I've got a live one, you know, my first level connection is somebody that I can sign up for services or whatever, but it could be someone in their network. So you always have to think dimensionally and multidimensionally in LinkedIn. Don't just think about that first level connection, think about your entire network. Okay, so that's a little bit about, very simply, how to begin that reach out process. Okay, and then let me see, once a connection's made, then you want to kind of cultivate that relationship. Okay, again, if you get an email that's not spam, respond, you know, just thank you, or whatever the appropriate response would be. And then your job is always to try to move that relationship forward. For some reason in LinkedIn, one of the big things in LinkedIn are birthdays, work anniversaries, and like promotions or job changes or position changes. And it's a big deal in LinkedIn to send those out and to get them. You know, it kind of would warm a relationship right away. So if you can do those types of things, move the relationship forward, and then whatever your target is, you penetrate it. You know, this is strategic marketing. And that's what we're trying to foster here. So once you lay that foundation, you create that really good first impression, you leave a good impression with them, you can reach out, and you know, that's what you're going to use to build the foundation of your sales funnel. You're going to put people that are interested in your sales funnel and follow up as appropriately, try to penetrate people's networks to put people in your sales funnel, and so on and so forth. Okay, so that's kind of how you would work LinkedIn. And then I wanted to just spend a few minutes and talk about branding. And as you know, branding is kind of creating that persona online within LinkedIn so that you can position yourself as the no-to guy or girl in your industry. And you want to be known as a knowledgeable professional in your field. What that does immediately is build trust. It kind of puts you on a pedestal, and you'll get business just by your visibility in LinkedIn. So I'm going to show you a very easy way to get started to brand yourself. Now there's more to it, and you can really get into doing a lot of cross-platform branding, but just to get started, you want to make sure that you're consistent. Okay, so if you can only do this once or twice a week, then go ahead and just do it, but do it consistently. If you can't do it consistently, it's better not to do it than just to do it hit or miss. Okay, and so I'm going to show you really briefly a quick way to do it, which is search for content. You don't have to worry about, oh God, I've got to write this 500 article, you know, on SEO and Penguin and Panda or anything like that. You can search for an article within your field of expertise. And LinkedIn is all about curated content. It's a lot about curated content. And then what you can do is write a brief introduction of that article, include that link, and then boom, you've got a post. Okay, and then what you're going to want to do is when people like it, thank them. When people comment on it, then comment back. And that's how you build a following. And Lee is actually kind of the master at this. This is where the student actually is better than the teacher because he got to over 2,000 followers with his content and stuff within like a month time frame, which is huge. And his followers think like he is the cat's meow. It's pretty crazy, actually.
You know what's so
That's
crazy
the way it
is
so.
probably time per day, realistically. I mean, not dealing with what came out of that, not the phone calls, okay? I'm dealing with real people that said, hey, let's get on the phone and talk about yada yada. But just the mechanics, 45 minutes a day, something like that? I
Yeah,
mean,
it doesn't take long, huh?
no, I mean, just doing it daily, 45 minutes, and suddenly, I mean, I kept Skyping you and saying, like, I'm up
Oh
to
my
500,
gosh.
I'm up to 700, I'm over 1,000, I'm over 1,500, I've topped 2,000, I can't stop it.
But
It's
what's cool is that these are just not like superficial. These are like
no, 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 no,
raving
no.
fans of yours. These are like followers. I mean, they're like, it's like the cult of Lee Cole. It's crazy. I've never seen anything like it. I mean, he's really mastered the art of branding and attraction marketing on LinkedIn phenomenally. So yeah, and it's very powerful stuff. I mean, Lee, you can attest to it. It's very, very powerful.
Yeah, it's crazy because I think a huge part of it, somebody's saying, well, why LinkedIn instead of Facebook? Why LinkedIn instead of other platforms? And I have used Facebook, although Facebook is massively harder to use than it was a year ago because Facebook has really clamped down on reaching out to people that you don't know. My wife ended up in Facebook jail for a week just because she was reaching out to friends of people that she went to art school with. I mean, how crazy is that, right? That's just stupid. So, but, Facebook, you don't, people come to Facebook to socialize, to post pictures about their kids, to keep up with, college friends, et cetera, et cetera. It's not specifically a business thing. Twitter is just all over the map. Twitter's cool if you know how to use it. And I use Twitter and Instagram and stuff like that. But when you're on LinkedIn, you know that people expect, it's like a Chamber of Commerce meeting. People expect you to talk to them in a certain way about certain things. They are predisposed to have a little more substantive back and forth with you than probably on Twitter.
Yeah, I think that's probably the big thing with LinkedIn is, again, it's a business-to-business marketing platform. And so a lot of times what's nice with LinkedIn, and this is not diminishing Facebook or Twitter because each platform has its purpose, but for business-to-business networking and building out a business network, LinkedIn's probably, that's where I think it's pretty powerful stuff. It really is. They've done some studies on like lead generation with LinkedIn over Twitter and Facebook and stuff like that, and LinkedIn's actually done very, very well in those studies. Right. But for you can see the type of data you can aggregate and then mine for and sift through, and then just use your imagination on what you can do with it. And I think you can build your credibility in LinkedIn too relatively easy. So so let me show you how to do that really quick. So with LinkedIn, it's really as simple as this is my home page, and if I wanted to go ahead and do an update on my home page, it's just as simple as finding an article. So I found this article, just did a really quick search, and this was 5 simple steps for improving your LinkedIn B2B marketing. And so what you could do, instead of like thinking, oh, I've got to write these articles and all this stuff, and I went ahead and just typed it out here just to kind of make it a little bit simple. So what I did is I just typed a very quick, you can see it was, I'm not going to post this because I would actually write something a little more in depth. I would do what I consider to be an abstract, which is more analysis into parts of the article just to set me apart as an expert. But this is, just something very simple. Here's a really great article and some simple tips to make your profile stand out on LinkedIn. This will set you apart, and then you have the URL. So if I wanted to go ahead and post this, I wanted to post this, it's really as simple as doing this, okay, and then I would hit share. And then really the better stuff that I find with a better, kind of a couple sentence abstract on some of the salient points of that particular article would get some conversations going and stuff, and that's where you can start responding to people, building a following. You can actually go ahead and take this in your groups, and you can't automatically post within the group because each group is individual, but you can take the same content and then just say, I found some really interesting stuff on, yada, 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 and post that to your group, so you don't have to constantly find new content. So that's a way that you can do it. Now, if you, kind of use this premise, this is what Lee did. He just started posting content, coming up with things to talk about, and then talking about them, and then people started really liking it. And you do that like twice a week consistently, and now I think you've probably moved up to doing it like more like 4 or 5 times a week because you're getting such great response from it, right?
Yeah, on the average it's ending up being about 4 times a week, and it's really just a matter of targeted toward a specific general niche, talking about a specific thing. I do a YouTube video, I bring it over. I can blog on LinkedIn. LinkedIn will allow you to blog. That's a beta feature on LinkedIn, which is a little more advanced beyond this webinar. I mean, it's not advanced to do, it's just we're giving you a ton of information. So, so basically, I cut a YouTube video, I bring that into the blog, I front end that with a couple of paragraphs, bam, you do that 2, 3, 4 times a week. The traction that you get, the eyeballs that you get on that for doing no marketing whatsoever. I mean, just through LinkedIn, just by virtue of the fact that I've now got 2,200 contacts or whatever it is, it's crazy. The amount of traction that I get off of that. So.
Yeah, it kind of snowballs really. So yeah, it is pretty wild. It pays you back in spades. So, and as you know, I'm kind of transitioning my business to kind of tweaking my business model a little bit, and then once I get my business model completely kind of transitioned over from offering a little bit different type of service, then I am going to I know I'll be able to work LinkedIn and kind of speak on the stuff that I speak about, and it's just really powerful. So I just wanted to get through my transition first, which I'm about halfway through. So, but I digress.
Yeah, I mean, you and I both know people who have built major businesses on LinkedIn.
Yeah, huge 7-figure a year businesses. Yeah, within 2 years or something, just using LinkedIn.
I mean, it's incredible.
Exactly. Yeah. So I wanted to mention too, Super Connector. I know this isn't part of it, but do we have a little bit of time? Do you guys want to just know about Lion and IDK? I don't know. Just a really quick 2-minute blurb on that.
Who here is getting brain overload, or who here wants a tad bit more of information that will happen to be extremely important? Michael says go for it. So let's just go for it.
Yeah, okay. So you'll see like the term, and in the course I talk about like Lion or Open Connector, and there's also a term in LinkedIn called IDK, and what that means is I don't know, or I don't know you, and it's really like if someone tries to connect with you and you honestly you don't know them, the best thing to do is just not respond. And I mean, you can see on my thing, I'm kind of bad Gloria here. I have got so many people that, because I build up my connections and my profile so much, I'm kind of a little more picky. Like if you guys send me an invite, I'll look through and I'll connect with you guys. I promise I will. But I just don't connect with anybody. I'm looking for people that my network doesn't converge with, and I have different like little mini criteria. But anyway, the best thing to do if someone wants to connect with you and you don't want to connect with them is don't hit I think it's I don't know, because what that does is it's a black mark against them, and then if they get a couple of black marks, then LinkedIn can actually shut down, slap them, and kind of give them a warning, and if they do it again, however many times, they can get their profile shut down. So it's a really good idea when you're starting to build your connections and you want to become a super connector, you want to get to this magic number, is to go ahead and put either open connector somewhere here, or you can go ahead and put it in your subheading, and you want to put it in your summary. I am an open connector. I will connect with anybody. I never IDK, which means I don't know you. And what that'll do is that'll let people know that it's safe to connect with you. And I say connect with everybody and anybody till you get to 500 connections. And then if you want to continue to connect with everybody and anybody, that's fine too. But at least up to that point, be an open connector. And LION, L-I-O-N, is LinkedIn Open Networker. It just means that you're an open connector. It's safe to connect with you. They're not going to get slapped if, you know, you're not with an ignore, I don't know you, basically. Okay, so that's a little bit about kind of some of the LinkedIn salient etiquette points. Okay, and you can put those in your profile. The secret sauce course actually kind of goes into all of this. I do screenshots and I rip apart my profile and I show you, you know, how to do like the SEO stuff and all that in there as well. So
yeah, the secret sauce report really gives people a plan for actually making this happen. So again, if you didn't get that, let us know. I think most people on this webinar got that, but if you got on the webinar and you didn't get that, it's totally cool. We love you. We're glad you're here. And if you want that, let me know and I'll send you to the proper place where you can get it, because it's got a lot of this information boiled down in a step-by-step manner to where you step 1 do this, step 2 do that, step 2 do that, step 3 do that. Cool.
Yeah, because I kind of went into the, you know, all of the kind of the more in-depth stuff. But I think I'm about to the point where I'm talked out and
I think I think it's kind of I think basically, you know, guys, basically what needs to happen is you need to move people off of LinkedIn onto your phone. I mean, most of you are in offline businesses or want to be in offline businesses. You're selling things like search engine optimization, website, excuse me, you know, video marketing, et cetera, you know, whatever, to businesses. And you can only go, so this is a great platform. You can not only keep up with things, you can organize things, you can get in touch with the right people so much faster than you could any other way. But at some point you got to move that off of here and onto the phone and actually talk to people, and I'm going to basically talk about that next.
Let me go ahead and change.
Yeah, so why don't you make me the presenter and we'll...
Yep. Here we go. Take it away, Lee.
So essentially what I noticed after Gloria retrained me and told me really how to do this, and by the way, if you're wondering how fast this works, Gloria, I think it was a few days after I implemented your changes that I started seeing real results. I was shocked, frankly. But I noticed that the people that you're reaching out to, okay, so I've got 2,100, 2,200 connections, a few more followers. You know, it's not like I have a solid relationship with all of those people. Generally, as your connections get bigger, they sort of fall into two groups. They fall into like your core group of people that you're talking to. They're kind of interested in what you're doing. They're interested in your business, no matter what your business is. You're going back and forth. You send them some stuff. You're messaging, et cetera, et cetera. So that's like your core group, which may be 10%, 20% of your overall number of connections. And then you got the other 80%, okay? Now, the thing about LinkedIn is you got to treat it, the goal is to treat it like you would a Chamber of Commerce meeting. You're not going to go into a Chamber of Commerce meeting with a canned pitch. walk up to everybody, shake their hand, and give them your elevator pitch. I mean, some people tell you to do this, but this is stupid. Give them your elevator pitch and move on to the next person, move on to the next person, move on to the next person. I mean, you really want to treat them like they're a valued human being in your life. You want to get to know them. And, you know, if you do network meetings and stuff like that, I mean, that's basically how you do this. You don't necessarily connect with everybody at the same level. You have some people that you take away from a given meeting, and that forms part of that core. But the rest of them, you got to have something to do with them too. So the ones who, Michael, hang on just a second. I will tell you how to do that. Michael, just save that question to Q&A. That's a great question. For Q&A. That's a great question. So now your core, the people that you have a relationship with, okay? So if you go into my profile, there are people that while I was listening to Gloria, I was actually multitasking and looking at my LinkedIn profile on my phone. And there are people saying, well, you know, can you send me some information about this? Or, hey, thank you for sending me that. Those people you want to treat on a unique one-on-one basis. You want to treat them like someone that like your neighbor that you're having a conversation with. You do not want to do anything canned. You do not want to do anything at all not unique. You want to always reference the past history of that connection and continue that connection. According to how your business works and what you're selling, you probably want to get them on the phone, and you probably want to talk about whatever your product is. I would probably, if I was doing that with the core group, okay, at some point fairly soon I would say, well, you know, I sell mobile marketing. That's what my business does. Would you mind if I sent you a little PDF about what we do? Well, you already exchanged a few messages. They'll be happy to receive it. You send it to them, you know, and then you just follow up intelligently with that according to where the conversation leads you. But then you got that whole other 80% of the conversations. They're like, they're basically just like little rivers in the desert that never go anywhere. They just sort of peter out and nothing happens. And you need something to do with them, okay, because you can actually reignite a bunch of them and get the good out of them. You don't have to just focus on your core. You can basically go back to that 80% of conversations that didn't seem to really go anywhere, and you can light a few fires under them and move them over into your core, and I'm going to tell you how to do that right now. Okay, so Lee's super duper closing technique. So this is not for the people that you're having ongoing relationships with, that are moving down the funnel, that you're sending stuff with, that talk to you, that say, well, let's, you know, let you come over to the office sometime and meet with me real fast, and maybe we'll go talk to the board and you can do a little presentation for them or something like that. Not those people. But the ones when you look back in, you know, when you look back over your contacts, now that Gloria has showed me how to tag people and stuff like that, and I know that I would be able to do this easier, but basically what I have is a giant stack of all my contacts in front of me, and I'm just going through these by hand and putting them into two groups. So we're talking about the group with whom you have sort of lost the connection. So you got two things that you can do here. Well, you got more than two. I've got two because I know how to do these two, and they work like gangbusters. Number one, you can direct mail them something and wait for them to call you back, or you can call them back. Okay, so this is standard outbound marketing 101. This is how sales has always happened. Or you can just cold call them. Okay, you can, you know, Gloria showed you how to research their company information, how to find them in the company a lot of times, and you might have to go out to the internet to do this, but you can find their phone number. You can cold call them. So I'm going to tell you two ways to do that. One, direct mail letter. Now, I just kind of freeformed this. I've done search engine optimization for businesses for years and gotten a lot of business through direct mail. This is about the 7th or 8th generation of this letter. Now, again, this is not for the people that I know I've said this like 14 times. I want to make sure you understand. It's not for the people that you have ongoing conversations with, where you've got an ongoing relationship, because they're going to look at this and think, why the heck is he sending me that? That's not where we were. Okay, they're going to think that. But these are for the ones where you don't know where to go with, and it's just the whole thing's kind of petered out. Okay, this is so you can resurrect some of those. This is like the 7th or 8th generation of this letter. It works like gangbusters. I've used this letter for several years and have refined it over and over and over again. But this is one way. Now, this is aimed at selling search engine optimization. You can rewrite it to sell text message marketing. You could rewrite it to sell video optimization. You could rewrite it to sell just consulting services or whatever you want to do. But I do the following. The first page is a giant pattern interrupt. If I'm selling SEO, I basically take a screenshot of page 1 of Google, make it small so I can get it on the paper, and say you're not showing up. And then, just so I make sure that they really look at it, I've got a screenshot of the header of their website. Okay, so I go out to Google, find the website, screenshot the header. Now we look at the letter, and this is short and sweet. Searching for you, weren't on page 1. Not going to bore you with a long letter. Now look, people have been hammered for years with, I can rank you on page 1 nonsense. You got to deal with that before you wad up the letter, throw in circular file. Right here, this is what you need right here in all the letters you send out. Nowadays, you got to have proof of what you can do. I've got proof that I can do what I can do, and I'm willing to send it to you. That's basically what this letter says. Okay, so if you're talking about rankings proof, you need rankings proof. If you're talking about, and I'm talking to the offliners on here. I realize I got some people on here who are not offliners. If you're talking about the text message marketing, you would probably have to rewrite this so that they could experience that themselves with their own phones. If you've got a video ranking proof, you need video ranking proof. If you're just selling something like, mobile-friendly websites or whatever, still a lot of businesses do not have a decent mobile presence. You would need proof of, it would not be proof of results, it would be proof of how it looks. But you got to have some kind of proof, and then you just wrap it up here. Now, I'm going through this super fast. I've got this letter where you can download it. Okay, and again, it's like the 7th or 8th generation of this thing. So this thing works like a scalded dog. If you were going to rewrite this for a non-competitive thing, SEO is a competitive thing. You're helping your client compete against something else. A mobile website is a non-competitive thing. Everybody can have one. It's okay for you to make one for this business, and for the business next door, it's completely ethical for you to do that. You're going to have to rewrite the middle of the letter a little bit, because I talk about competition between who you're talking to in the area there. But y'all can figure out how to do that. That's easy enough to do. If you will just keep the letter pretty much in the same flow, you can easily rewrite this for anything you want to do. So now, and I know I said that super fast because I'm giving you the letter. Direct mail. So again, this is for the 80% that you've lost contact with. Just direct mail them something. Either they call you back, or if you want to be a real pro and go one step further, you call them and see if they got it. Or you can just cold call them. Okay? I've got a super killer cold call course that some of you probably bought several years ago. It's just as good now as it was then. It's an audio course. I sold it for a little while. I'm going to give that to you. I'll give you the link where you can get all this stuff later on. But basically, cold calling hasn't changed. It hasn't changed since they invented the telephone. It's exactly the same. And you can take their phone numbers. See, the cool thing about LinkedIn is you can get the person to talk to. Okay, you can actually call the vice president of marketing for a given corporation. I would encourage you to do that. Like I said, when I got so excited when Gloria started talking about this, I could hardly contain myself. My business started with me on Google finding VPs of marketing, sending them, it was a letter back then. It was like, I wouldn't even call it the first generation of the direct mail letter. It was like a 0th generation. It was really crude. Not crude in language, of course, but crude in how well it worked. But I sent them the letter. I called them a week later to see if they got the letter. Oh my God, the amount of business I got out of that was crazy. It was like, well, actually I did. And I had a little website. I took a look at your website. That's really cool. I remember the first guy that called me back, this was like within days after I started this campaign. I was new. I was like I had just been born. I didn't have diapers on. I was so new. And this guy calls me back and says, you know, when can you come over here and meet with me and the CEO of the corporation? And I thought, CEO? I don't know enough to meet with the CEO, but I'm telling you guys, if you will use LinkedIn to target those people and then just reach out to them, they're waiting for you because everybody else is too scared to, frankly. So cold call, I've got the cold call audios. You can download them. But cold calling is basically the same as direct mailing. You just call them first. You call them, say, hi, my name's so-and-so. I'm in this kind of business. This is what I sell. I'm not trying to sell you anything today. Would you mind if I send you something real quick that will tell you about what I do? It's basically a quick brochure. It's not going to take too much of your time. Send it to them. Call them back, see if they got it, develop a relationship, close the deal. People are waiting for you to call them because everybody else is too scared to call them. So it says let's go over each of these. I basically just went over each of these because, you know, I can do it fast because, honestly, it's a matter of doing it, and it's not that hard to do. I think really that's about it. Now, again, guys, this is not for the core of people that you're developing relationships with, that you're continuing to have conversations with, who are reaching out to you. And people will reach out to you and say, hey, I just read your profile. Can you tell me a little bit more about your company and what you do? Yeah. That is amazing. That puts you into an enormous position of strength vis-a-vis that person. And then you can just say, yeah, great. Here's my website. Go there, take a look at it. By the way, here's my phone number. What's your phone number? When's a good time to call? I'll be happy to just sit down and chat with you and see if what I do is something that would be a fit for your business. It is amazing how far something like that will get you once you start implementing this kind of stuff. Cool beans. I mean, Gloria, this is an incredible amount of information. I'm actually going to have to relook at this webinar myself, which is a rarity. Guys, we're toward the end. We're not at the end. I think we should give Gloria a great round of applause because for a free webinar, I think that was an amazing amount of value. I learned a ton of it. There's a little more to come. We're going to have Q&A at the end. Here's the deal. Most of you got here because you bought Secret Sauce. That was a report that we released just to my list, by the way, and we released it at a discounted price, and it has some more stuff on it. That, Gloria, we have tons of thank yous coming in through here.
Oh, awesome. Thank you. I'm glad you guys learned a lot.
You know, as always, folks, you know, I would not have a business. I would not have this part of my business if you didn't open my emails and read them. So I always try to sell you stuff cheaper than everybody else gets it, and I deeply appreciate that. But that would be how you got hold of LinkedIn Secret Sauce. And again, if you didn't, let me know, and I can hook you up with it. I've been talking to Gloria. We have had massive, excellent feedback about all of this stuff, and I've been talking with Gloria because Gloria and I have had people, it's really kind of the first time it's happened like this. We both had people reach out and say, hey, I got that, I read that, I need to know more. Can you coach us? Can you do something? Gloria, I got somebody actually on the webinar, Cornell, who's going to be emailing you, and I'm going to forward his email to you, but he's talking to me about getting you to coach him. This has been hit such a sweet spot here that there's so many people who need more information that Gloria and I were just kind of sitting down and thinking, well, people, we gave you a bunch in the product LinkedIn Secret Sauce and in the OTOs that followed that, but there's, as you can see, there's a lot more to know about this, and you can basically do all of your prospecting for your business and build a massive business just on LinkedIn. It's amazing. So we've decided to create a 4-week webinar-based training, 1 webinar per week. Let me tell you about what's included. I'm going to go over each week with you and tell you approximately what's in that week. So each module is a week, okay? So Module 1 is Super Connector Training. You know, Gloria talked all about how reaching that magic 500 connect number is the starting of the tipping point. And I will tell you for a fact, personally, I was at like 220 connects. I have no idea how I got there. I was just there and nothing was happening. I was just kind of screwing around and I hated LinkedIn. But when Gloria straightened me out and I beefed up my connections to 500, that's when things started working really well for me. So Module 1, we're going to go all into superconnector training, how to become a superconnector. A superconnector, in case you hadn't figured this out, is someone who's connected to a bunch of folks. I am a superconnector. Okay, I'm connected to 2.2 thousand people. Gloria's a superconnector. She's connected to 3,500 people, first-tier connections. You need to become a superconnector rapidly. That's where it all starts. So we're going to, there's a thing called Top Linked, which will help you do this. We're going to talk to you about how to sign up, how to use their invite list to become a superconnector rapidly, because that's step number one. Okay, I mean, you got to get to the ballpark before you can play ball. Becoming a superconnector is getting to the ballpark. So that is week 1. And we've also tried to boil these down into week-by-week bits so you can get this whole thing done up and running to where this thing is creating the kind of leads you need for your business in a month. Okay? Now, Module 2. We're going to look at your profile. We're going to dissect profiles, take the profile, talk about all the components. Gloria, you mentioned word cloud here. I know what a word cloud is, but I have no clue as to what that is on LinkedIn, so I can't wait until we get to Module 2 there, because I know you're going to tell some amazing stuff. If you want Gloria to do a profile critique, we can do that on the webinar. I can tell you right now, folks, getting your profile, that's your summary. When you land, when somebody finds Lee Cole, okay, by the way, I'm at linkedin.com/in/Lee Cole online. If you find me and you see that, that's my profile, okay? So at least once a day, I have a person, a complete stranger saying, hey, I read your profile. It is really killer. Can you tell me more about what you do? It is amazing. Your profile is your silent salesperson. It is out there working when you're asleep. It is amazing how that works, okay? So we're going to make sure that your profile is doing for you what my profile is doing for me. That's the second week. The third week, now this is really, really cool. Gloria mentioned this to me and I started salivating because I don't know how to do this, honestly. You get on LinkedIn and Gloria was showing you how there were posts and, you know, people are blogging on LinkedIn and stuff like that. But Gloria's going to show us how to hijack posts. And she showed me a little bit of this stuff. We got on Skype and she did some screen sharing with me. And, oh, my God, I was like, I mean, it was crazy. I was looking at this stuff and I was like just salivating. I mean, I could just easily see me legitimately and ethically finding the right conversations, sort of insinuating myself into them, and then having, you know, branding myself, branding what I do on LinkedIn, having people reach out to me and say, hey, you know, let's get on the phone and talk about this. That is amazing. See, there is so much content now on LinkedIn. There's so many groups with things that they're talking about. There's so many of those status updates that are going on. There's so many blog posts. You can easily insinuate yourself into these conversations. Hijack might be a little strong of a word. It's what you're doing, but it's not done in a hijacky kind of way, because it's not done in a spammy way. It's done in a, there's a right way and a wrong way to do it. People take my content now on LinkedIn and they totally screw it up, and I'm very sweet to them. I just say thank you so much for commenting on this. But I know other people look at that and think, well, what a jerk. Okay, so you don't want people to look at your stuff like that, but you will be able to see. This is a more this is not a passive. This is a more, not the word aggressive, I think is too strong, but this is a more yeah, thank you. This is a more assertive way that you can start to not only just make connections with people, but start to really build your brand in a very, very meaningful way to where people will very quickly look at you as the go-to person for whatever it is you're selling on LinkedIn, the go-to person for mobile, whatever, the go-to person for social. Somebody said that they were on the chat here that they were selling a social media campaign to a business, the go-to person for social media, the go-to person for whatever. This is a great way to do that. So we're going to talk all about that on Module 3, and personally I can't wait till Module 3 either. Hang on. Module 4. Now this is really, really killer stuff. I know all of y'all probably are in a bunch of groups on Facebook, and sometimes it's kind of a lame thing. You get in a group, everybody's excited, everybody says, well, I'm glad you're here, blah, 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 blah. And 5 days later, you know, I mean, it's crickets, okay? LinkedIn groups are entirely different. They work differently. They have a whole different look and feel to them. Gloria shared an article with me the other day about a guy who had built a 7-figure business just by creating a group and doing it right. I was completely blown away. Gloria and I have created a group for a different business that we're, you know, that we're doing right and already getting traction out of. Module 4, we're going to talk about the power of groups, how to create a group, how to do it right, whether you have them closed or open, policies, all this stuff so that the group actually works for you and doesn't become a spam fest for other people. That will be week 4. So basically, you've got these 4 weeks. Hang on, go to webinars, being a little slow here. Week 1, we're going to make sure you're a super connector fast. Week 2, we're going to make sure your profile is your silent salesperson, as Gloria showed me how to make my profile. 3, you're going to learn how to be more assertive and to flip conversations around so that you can talk about what you need to talk about to get people reaching out to you and to brand you and your business. And 4, we're going to talk about groups. Groups are so incredibly powerful, guys, because what you do is you get a bunch of people in there and you have a captive audience. And you're going to be selling to, branding that yourself to that captive audience. That is amazing stuff. So Gloria has developed this 4-week webinar series. We call it LinkedIn Laser, okay? Because it's focusing in on exactly what you need to build a massive business rapidly on LinkedIn. And again, each module will represent 1 week of instruction. There's more, though. And I thought Gloria was crazy when she started telling me, well, Lee, I could give them this and I could give them that. You know, Gloria sells her expertise to corporations. She doesn't sell it to mom and pop pizza store. Okay, her stuff is corporate level stuff. She also wants to include, besides all of that training, some really amazing bonuses. One is called Instant Super Connector. Now, this is really amazing. This is kind of a hack, in a way, that you can do on LinkedIn if you know how and if you have the list to do it. But Gloria owns a list, and she actually does sell this list and this service to corporations for $400 a pop. But Gloria owns a list of over 3,000 open networkers. Now, an open networker is a super connector who is not going to give you a black mark if you reach out to them. And Gloria's going to, you'll get the list along with instructions on how to use the list. And if you do this, frankly, and Gloria never gave me the list, by the way, but if you do this, frankly, you will become a super connector almost instantly. This is going to dramatically cut down the amount of time before you become a big dog and you're playing with the big dogs and other people are reaching out to you because they look at you as a big dog. Okay? So right there, $400 value. Number 2, transcript of the PDF from this webinar. Gloria does webinars and informational presentations like this for corporations. When she gives them this kind of information, she does a PDF. This is more than just a transcript of who said what. It's got screenshots, et cetera, et cetera. So it's more of a workbook from this. That's $100 value. So let's recap real fast. What we got here. Don't faint when you look at the numbers. She's not going to charge you nearly this much. 4 webinars of advanced training. When Gloria does this for corporations, she charges $150 per webinar, so that's $600, 4 times 150. Instant Super Connector, $397, transcript, PDF, $97. The total value of everything that she's giving you is $1,094, and like I said, don't faint, because Gloria is not charging you anywhere near that amount of money. Right now, if you will buy this within the next few days, and there's I'll show you where to buy it, and there's a counter on that website, she's charging you only $97 for all the stuff that I mentioned. That's the month-long webinar, 1 webinar per week, the Instant Super Connector, the transcript, all of that stuff. It's a 91% discount. Now, if you want to take us up on this, you don't have to. Okay, if you bought LinkedIn Secret Sauce, it works fine. It works great. You can have that. But if you're serious about your business, you want to take this to the next level, you want to really kill it in the last half of 2014, you don't have to, but I would seriously consider you thinking about looking into this. If you will take, I'm trying to highlight it, but if you will take, if you will go to bit.ly, Gloria, if you could put that in the chat for me.
Yeah, let me see if I can do that for you.
Hang on a second, I got it right here, guys.
Okay.
bit.ly, LinkedIn Laser. If you will put that into your browser, I'm going to show you what you're going to see. We got Q&A, guys, and we got the giveaway coming up, so just hang loose, okay? Nobody forgot about any of that. Let me give this to everybody, but if you will put that in your browser, bit dot, you got to have the dot, ly / LinkedIn Laser, all one word, LinkedIn Laser. If you will put that in your browser, you will see the following. That will take you to this sales page, and as you see, we got a counter where this is a 72-hour sale. After this, just as we did with LinkedIn Super Sauce, I mean, I already got affiliates who want to sell LinkedIn Super Sauce now. They're people that buy it through them are going to be paying more than you pay for it, okay? We probably will do this webinar again. The next time we do it, Gloria and I already talked about raising the price for this stuff by at least $100. That's still too cheap. I think I can get it up to probably $297 within 2 or 3 weeks, so you're getting in an amazing price. You got 3 days to do that. This is a sales letter which is basically outlining what I just went through for you on the webinar. It tells you about what's in each module. We talk about the bonuses here. We talk about the massive discount. And if you want to buy this, this is a JVZoo link. You can buy it tonight or anytime anytime before the counter runs out, which is 3 days. You can buy it right now for $97 and get in on this whole thing. The webinars start, Gloria, when did I say the webinars start? On the 29th, okay? So the webinars start 1 week from today. We're going to hit the ground running. There's going to be ancillary material created from these webinars. This will all be in the members area. The discounts aren't in the discounts. Oh my God, the bonuses aren't in the members area quite yet. So if you buy this tonight and look in there, you will see 4 webinar registration links. Go ahead and register for those. But Gloria's VAs will get the stuff in there within about a day. Our goal is to completely hit the ground running, and to help you take LinkedIn and help it, get it to be the kind of lead machine for you that Gloria helped it become for me. So that's what I know, guys. That's what we got going on for you. I mean, you got a massive amount of value from this webinar, even if you don't buy this. But I very rarely tell people what to do. I just offer stuff to people. But I will tell you something, because I've been selling offline stuff for a really long time. If you got the cash and you really want to make offline work for you, or basically any business where you need leads and you need to make sales, but we're mainly talking offline here, you'd be kind of nuts to pass this up. I very rarely say that to people, but I'm saying that very sincerely. This is, as you can see, you just got a massive amount of training for free, and that does not even compare to what's coming on the webinars. So this is the kind of big business building stuff that some of you definitely want to think about. Gloria, that's what I know. I think y'all have got the link, bit.ly, LinkedIn Laser. Go here, decide whether you want to do it. When the counter runs out, it's no longer available, and I'm at least bumping the price up by $100. If I get a few affiliates and do this webinar for a few affiliates and start selling really rapidly, we will bump the price up even more. And unfortunately, if you buy it then as opposed to now, you're going to be paying a couple $100 more for it. So I would consider getting it if you can now. I think it's Q&A time, Gloria. So basically, guys,
Q&A, and we've got the giveaway too.
Oh, we got the giveaway. We got the giveaway.
Yep, don't forget the giveaway.
Yeah, the giveaway is huge. You want to tell us about the giveaway?
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and do somebody's profile, and normally, you know, I charge for this, but I'll go ahead and do your complete profile for you, and that's going to entail a conversation so I can kind of get a really good feel for what you're trying to convey on LinkedIn, and then I will go ahead and rewrite your profile, and then we can do a couple of things. I have clients that will either, I'll give them the template and they can input it themselves, or I have clients that'll just temporarily change their LinkedIn password, and then I input it and then they change it back. But either way, it doesn't matter, but you will get a completely rewritten profile, and that'll be completely optimized and everything. And people, they love the way I rewrite their profiles. So
yeah, you rewrote a profile for a gentleman the other day, and I think it was just astounded.
Yeah, he was like, I can't believe you know, it's like you got into my head, and I just couldn't put it on paper, but you were able to figure it out, and, you know, people are always saying that all the time, you really nailed it and stuff like that. So not to brag, but it's going to be a really nice profile if I do it, and I'm giving one away. So
Gloria, I want you to think of a number between 1 and 50.
Okay. Do I need to, okay, I'm going to write it down. Where do I write it
down
at?
I don't know. You just have to, I don't know how we're going to do this. I only studied mathematics at Georgia Tech. I can't handle complex situations.
Exactly.
Why don't you let me know what it is without yelling it out? Well, you can do it on Skype if you want to. I'm on my phone.
Okay, let me do it on Skype.
So Gloria's going to Skype me a number. So hang on.
All right,
I have got the number. No, Gloria, you cannot choose the number 1. Just kidding. She didn't choose 1.
I didn't do that.
Okay, people are already putting numbers on. The first person that hits the number gets it. Nobody's got it yet, so let's between 1 and 50 inclusive. So you can include 1 and 50. Okay, hang on.
Somebody got it.
Yeah, but they're all scrolling. Hold on.
Somebody got it.
There's
a person. I've seen it a couple
okay,
of
I've got it like 5 times now, but I got to find the top one. So don't put any more numbers on.
Yeah, somebody's already.
Yeah, it is.
I think it's Carrie. Is that?
No, it's not Carrie. Carrie, I hate to tell you, it's not you.
It's
Francis.
It's Francis. Carrie had the same number, but Carrie was.
Carrie was a day late and a dollar short. Sorry about that, Carrie.
It's Francis.
You were 2 nanoseconds late. So Francis, I'm going to. Gloria, is it okay if I just give you Francis or give Francis your email address?
Yep, absolutely.
So Francis, I'm giving you Gloria's email address. Email Gloria. She will set you up with everything. And that is an amazingly cool thing.
Congratulations.
for you to have, because I mean, Gloria didn't even do that for me. I mean, it was just like it was just like, Lee, Lee, here's what you need to do. And I was shocked at how well it worked. but it worked like gangbusters. So having Gloria actually do it, and she does this for people all the time and charges a lot of money, but having her actually do this is huge. So that was fun, guys. Q&A. Q&A. Francis, that was you. Yeah. The number was 27. James wants to know what the number was.
Yeah, it was 27.
So excellent. So Q&A, guys. Anything that you want to ask us about what happened on the webinar, you want to ask about the class to come up, this has to be Joe who wrote this. It says friend, but I can just guarantee you by the size of this thing, this has to be my buddy Joe. Hang on, folks. It will take a while to read this and digest it.
Yes, it's a kind of a long comment.
Yeah, he's a thinker, you know. I mean.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
That's good stuff. The part about reaching out to people that he knows directly is what, Joe, that was a myth. It's not a myth, okay, but that was a mistake that I made personally. And Gloria said, no, you really don't have to do that. What you have to do is do it like this, and it will work, okay?
Yeah, I've done a lot of LinkedIn consulting and a lot of profiles and help people reach super connector status that didn't have hardly any, and then, you know, they went to super connector very fast. So, so let me see what the comments.
Should I use LinkedIn to try to get more biz clients, or should I use it to try to build a business network for branding? What do you think my next LinkedIn move should be? Joe, your next move needs to be to get to be a super connector.
Yeah.
I mean, super connector means you are now in the ballpark, you got your uniform on, you got the bat and the glove, you're ready to play ball. Okay? I mean, if you're messing around with 80 some odd connections or 10 or 100, nobody's going to take you seriously. So you got to get to that 500, and Gloria's stuff will show you how to do that rapidly. If you're buying this course, you'll get as a bonus the instant super connector, and that will do it in about probably 24, 48 hours.
Yeah, it does it pretty quickly, and there are a lot of people do make the mistake, and their LinkedIn profile does read like a resume, but that doesn't set you apart, right? So what you want to do is you're trying to brand yourself and set yourself apart, and what really makes a LinkedIn profile stand out is to make it engaging and make it written in first person, and I kind of have a recipe to teach you how to do that. So.
Yeah, absolutely.
Tell a story. People love a great story.
Yeah, the story thing, you know, when Gloria was talking to me, I looked at my resumes. Of course, like everybody else, I thought LinkedIn was for people looking for jobs. Great question, Cornell. We'll get to that in just a sec. And, you know, I went back and looked at my resume, and I thought, my God, this is as dull as dirt. You know, and when I redid it and I made it professional but more of a story, that's when it really started resonating with other people. James says he bought all 3 courses last week and loved it. Awesome. Somebody else picked 27. Yeah, there were about 7 people who picked 27, and Francis was the first.
Yeah.
There is a replay, James, of tonight's webinar. It generally takes me about 24 hours to get those up because I got to download it on my computer. It's a long webinar. That'll take 2 hours. Got to reformat it in Handbrake, put it up somewhere, put it on a website, and then I'll mail that out to everybody. Yeah, somebody's gone through Secret Sauce thinking strongly on the webinar course. Normally I just, you know, Gloria, when I sell things like webinars and stuff to people, I just normally just throw that out there and say, if you want it, great. If you don't, I still love you, and I really do. But, you know, I built an offline business, and, you know, I did some things right, and I made some massive mistakes. This would be the kind of thing I wished I'd had, frankly. I think this would have saved me a lot of frustration.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a short. Yeah, I see what Cornell's saying about how do we protect ourselves, allowing outsourcers to do work through. I do. I let outsourcers do it, and you just kind of have to manage it and give them the process and give them what you want them to do. Don't let them do a lot of free forming, and that's what my outsource autopilot is about. Is what I actually taught my outsourcer to do, and she only took the conversation so far, and then when it got to a certain point that was defined, then what we did is it was handed over to me. So that's kind of how we did it. And then Stuart he's got a group of 500 plus plumbers.
That's nice.
Stuart, you are sitting on the beginnings of a gold mine. That's, I mean, that is huge. So I would have to kind of look at your group to give you some pointers on what you need to tell them to grow their business and generate more income, just to kind of see what what you guys are talking about in the group. I know plumbers, plumbers always want the phone to ring, so it's whatever marketing. So it just really, I just need to kind of see, and I'd be happy to do that. Lee will include my email and stuff. I'd be happy to do that and help you with that. You are sitting on the beginning. I'm kind of jealous, actually. So wow.
Yeah, because plumbers have spent a lot of money to get the phone to ring. Stuart, I think I would consider things like perhaps having information, like you can buy, like PLR information. I would not make it cheap looking, obviously, because you're going after someone who's looking for a multi-$1,000 sale, okay? But you can buy really good PLR information, and I might take some of that and just give it away inside the group, and then just do a little bit of outbound marketing, a little bit of pushing the envelope a little bit, and just sort of finding out what these people's addresses are and just sending them a nice letter and saying, hey, this is Stuart, you're in my group. Just wanted to make sure that we touched base outside of LinkedIn. If I can ever help you with marketing, any of the marketing with your company, here's a list of the kinds of things that I do, and proof. Proof is huge, frankly.
Proof is huge, yeah. It's really, really huge.
I don't know exactly what you're selling them, Stuart, but here's something that and of course you would have to contact your previous clients and see if you can do this. But here's a client that I did yada yada for. Here's a client that I did yada yada for. In the marketing world, that kind of thing is called a white paper. You don't have to make it really fancy, and you don't have to spend a ton of money on it. Basically, you want to just provide them with information to further that conversation. See if you can move them out of that group and onto the phone, frankly.
That's exactly right.
Is really what needs to happen, so that you can start talking to them about, I don't know if you sell one thing or a variety of things or whatever, but you start talking to them about the stuff that you sell. And start to actually getting them to sit down and consider buying your thing from you. But that would really be the next step. And with 500 people, 500 businesses, Stuart, you've got a good month's work ahead of you just seeing how many of those you can get off of LinkedIn. I don't mean exclude from LinkedIn, but include the phone conversation, include the white paper, include the PLR material, whatever. Follow that up with a phone call and do that. Say, hey, this is Stuart. Is there a time we could talk maybe about your marketing? Not trying to sell you anything here, but notice that you've been active in the group and just wanted to let you know the kinds of things I do with my business. That kind of stuff would be huge. I pretty well guarantee you, Stuart, if you did that for a month, you would end up with some deals.
Oh, huge, yes. Yes, if you could show them how you can make their phone ring, and that's all you need to show them, you're golden.
Yeah, exactly. Francis says it's coming at a great time. Francis has clients who want to get 4 employees running on LinkedIn and need some help. Cool beans.
Great.
So awesome. Anything else we can help you guys out with in terms of the webinar? Any questions about the training to come before we call it a night? Because we've been on here a good 2 hours, and I really appreciate it.
Yeah, I really appreciate you guys kind of soaking it up, and I hope you learned a lot.
Cool. You bet, Joe. I appreciate that. Okay, folks. Replay will be up middle of the day tomorrow, and I'll just email that out to everybody. You can take a look at that. And again, just bear in mind the fact that you've got a few days to decide whether to buy the training or not. But we're hopping on this. Our goal is to get on this training fast because we've had a lot of feedback from people, and we don't want to leave people hanging since apparently they need this information to grow their businesses. So.
Yep. And Lee, will you go ahead and send out my profile? If you want to find me on LinkedIn, it's linkedin.com/in/Gloria Gunn, all one word, GLORIAGUNN, and I'll connect with me, and I'll go ahead and take a look at that. So.
Yeah, you can find Gloria there on LinkedIn. Okay.
Yeah, it's in the chat. Yep.
So thank you very much. Y'all have a great evening, and see you soon.
Guys. Yep, thanks. All right, bye-bye.